Hello, my name is Ella Schubert, and this is my resubmission for Assessment 1. I have designed an inquiry-based blended learning sequence for Year 4 mathematics on fractions that optimise online learning opportunities in line with the Australian Curriculum version 9. This sequence is framed by Prestige's digital teaching principles and Salmon's e-tivities model, which emphasize modeling, sustained communication, and purposeful management of online interaction between students. This unit moves from hands-on modeling to online collaboration and back to classroom consolidation. Lesson 1 starts with a face-to-face task where students build fraction strips and number line benchmarks in pairs, explaining their reasoning. This shared language then flows onto online spaces. Students next take part in 3 online activities: OneNote, Google Classroom, and Padlet, where they co create, share, and give feedback on each other's fraction models, extending the discussion begun in Lesson 1 and building genuine student to student interaction online. Finally, Lesson 3 returns to the classroom for a fraction fair, with stations like Error Spot and Number Line Race, plus the reflection, I used to think, now I think. This draws on misconceptions and artifacts from the online activities so students can resolve errors together and see how their thinking has changed. This learning sequence develops skills in creating and justifying equivalent fractions, locating and representing fractions on number lines, and applying mathematical modelling to solve practical problems. The focus is on inquiry, communication, collaboration, and creation, clearly aligning with the Australian professional standards for teachers around explicit teaching and ICT integration. My first in-depth online student-to-student activity is the OneNote Fraction Gallery. This happens asynchronously, but begins in class so students are confident with the routine. I seed the class notebook with my own example, for instance, showing one half as both an area model and a number line point, plus a model comment so students can see what respectful, higher order feedback looks like. Each student then posts 2 different models of the same fraction. For example, a shaded rectangle and a number line point, with a because statement linking them. Students also comment on at least 2 other peers' posts by asking clarifying questions, suggesting another model, or offering a kind improvement. This design gives them extra thinking time, creates a persistent record students can revisit, and lets me, as their teacher, identify misconceptions to address in later activities such as the fraction fair. It explicitly fosters sustained communication, models constructive feedback, and manages posting protocols to ensure high quality student to student interaction happening online. My second in depth online student to student activity is Google Classroom Fraction Mythbusters. I will post a common misconception, for example, one half is always bigger than one third, to spark curiosity and cognitive conflict. Students will then upload a short video or written post explaining or debunking it with evidence. After posting, each student responds to at least 2 classmates with a question, counter example, or extension, so genuine dialogue develops rather than isolated submissions. Beforehand, I model a constructive comment and model initial posts so everyone has a clear template for respectful, higher order thinking responses. On the Google Classroom dashboard, I post supporting resources such as a short YouTube explainer on equivalent fractions, reminders about due dates, and quick polls like rate your understanding of the previous lesson. Collecting this feedback online, with children being able to be anonymous, reduces children embarrassment and encourages honest self assessment and gives me, as a teacher, richer formative data to guide the next lesson. To broaden the sequence, students join a brief asynchronous Padlet called Fraction Museum. In groups of 3 or 4, they collect real life fraction examples, photos they take, or images they find online and upload them. They then peer comment on at least 2 other groups' artifacts, while I co comment to sustain discussion. This quick activity builds authentic learning, strengthens student to student interaction, and sets students up for deeper online tasks. Lesson 3 brings students back to the classroom for stations like Error Spot and Number Line Race. These activities draw directly on misconceptions and artifacts from the online spaces so students can work through their errors together. I run mini conferences to target individual needs, and students finish with the reflection: I used to think, now I think, in terms of an exit slip. I can give students this when they're leaving the lesson. This will help me to link their online learning to their offline practice and closes the inquiry cycle. In this sequence, ICT is integral to inquiry and collaboration, not an add on. Face to face lessons build shared understanding with manipulatives, visible scaffolding, and hands on collaboration. Online spaces, especially the OneNote Fraction Gallery, Google Classroom Mythbusters, and the Padlet Fraction Museum, extend interaction in time and space and provide persistent artifacts, equity of voice, and genuine student to student collaboration beyond the classroom. Together, they create a transformative learning loop rather than duplicative tasks for students. This sequence delivers 5 activities with 2 unpacked in detail, integrates contemporary pedagogy, and demonstrates ICT's transformative potential. It evidences explicit teaching with ICT integration, modeling and supporting safe ICT use, designing engaging online and blended learning, and using digital tools to promote student safety and responsibility online. It draws on Prestige's digital teaching principles and Salmon's E-Tivities model to scaffold purposeful, well-managed student-to-student collaboration online. Thank you for viewing my presentation. OneNote, Google Classroom, and Padlet extend and deepen mathematical thinking beyond the classroom. By combining face-to-face inquiry with modeled online interaction, this approach offers Year 4 students a richer, more inclusive way to learn about fractions.